Hi everyone, welcome back to Baka Bitches. We are two 30-something-year-olds who love to drink and talk about anime. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Hannah to quickly go through our anime disclaimers.
Yes, because you'll need them just in case you don't want sensitive ears listening. But yeah, this is fair warning, a podcast that we're going to be talking about there's going to be language, there's going to be cursing because we're drinking, there's going to be drinks. So
What the fuck are you talking about?
I know.
What kind of fucking language is happening in
this
here?
This is bullshit. I know.
It's a family show.
So sorry.
Please don't watch this with your family.
Yeah, don't do it.
Watch it in private.
With the door closed and locked. But yeah, so there's going to be language. There's probably going to be some sexy talk in here.
Some adult themes.
Definitely a lot of adult themes. And that ranges
references
from,
to sexuality.
Yes, sexy sex time and daddies. Lots of daddies.
So many daddies. All the daddies with an I-E-S. Daddies.
Daddies.
Probably some dark elements. Some things that might be uncomfortable. Death.
Sex, violence, drug use.
Mm-hmm. Heavy themes.
We're gonna talk about it all. So if you're a little sensitive about those subjects, please just be aware that it's to your discretion, and don't come at us for watching in dub. Okay?
Mostly don't come at us for that, because we are Baka Bitches and we are not reading subtitles.
We are not. Maybe on our own time, but this is podcast time, and we gotta go with the English. We gotta go with the English so we absorb it all.
Enjoy, guys.
Enjoy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Baka Bitches. We are two 30-something-year-olds who love to drink and especially love talking about anime. I'm Hannah.
Ooh, I'm Stephanie. I forgot to do that last intro, didn't I?
It's okay. We're having the training wheels on again, but it's fine. We'll be big girls one of these days and ride our
we got the thing.
Big girl bikes again.
Cool.
So yeah, we are on episode 25 of Inuyasha, and before that, we are doing a drinky drink of peach rum. Peach Jack Daniels, right?
Yes. Peach whiskey, spiced rum. Ginger beer. Leftover ginger beer.
Yeah, and like sparkling wine or something in there.
It's a lot of alcohols in one cup. But it doesn't taste very alcohol-y.
No, but it does be hitting very alcohol-y.
It's super be hitting alcohol-y. So if you guys want to get fucked up,
do that.
This is the drinky drink for you.
Yeah, just do whatever
ratios
that you want to do
to you,
that you love. You just do it. It's fine. You'll get it good.
Use feeling.
Always measure with your heart. So anyways, we are on episode 25 of Inuyasha. I know I already said that, but I'm repeating myself. And the title of this is called Naraku's Insidious Plot.
Dun dun dun!
Dun dun dun! So we really get a feel for what's haps. So we open up with a recap of what we witnessed last episode, which is basically
all the trauma flashbacking.
Yeah, like Kohaku stabbing his older sister in the back with his sickle on a chain, and then him getting arrowed to death, and, recapping all of that family trauma, which is great because, as I said to Stephanie, because back in the day when this came out, we could only watch it on the TV, so we had to wait a while. So they got to recap these things.
Yeah.
So you get a refresher of the trauma that you just witnessed,
right, from
last
a full
week.
7 days ago versus Netflix. Skip the credits, skip the intro, get me straight to the next episode.
7 seconds ago instead of 7 days.
Exactly. It's different.
It just hits different. So we get that recap, which was so great. And then we see that Sango is traveling with the white baboon Naraku to her village in hopes to run across Inuyasha and more or less revenge kill him.
Yeah, traveling, I mean, you put it very nicely. It was more kind of like
she's
hobbling along, trying to keep up.
Yeah, like she's probably taking a break every 10 minutes because, she got some flesh wounds.
Yep.
And she's deciding, like, I'm going to ignore the fact that I might be hemorrhaging blood in order to exact revenge.
Yeah.
And there was even a point where Sango's resting under a tree and Naraku's like, is she dead? Is Sango dead? And she just pops up and she's like, I refuse to die until Inuyasha is dead in revenge for my family and village dying.
Yeah, she has to complete her, quote, final task.
Yeah.
Of getting revenge. I mean, she's just gone super hardcore, There's a lot of people who just have a lot of bad feelings towards Inuyasha through nothing he's done on his own accord other than be kind of a dick that people don't necessarily like.
Yeah, that's really
so it's easy to pin him down on things because people are already kind of like suspect of him where they're well, you're kind of not a nice person, so it makes sense that I guess you would just be raging and kill an entire city of people for no reason other than because you felt like it, I guess. I don't know.
It's that half demon in you, I'm sure.
It's not the half dog part, that's for sure.
It's just the half demon. So, so Sango is bound and determined to get there, and in the meantime, Scooby and gang
love that.
Are kind of a little bit away from the village, but kind of nearby in this. They're toting this wagon full of wrapped things, which I assume are maybe bodies.
Oh.
I don't know. Or things from the village.
Oh.
And Miyoka's telling them... I thought it was just
like containers upon containers of top ramen.
Oh, why'd they throw that in the cave then?
Why would they I don't know. That? Just because Inuyasha likes to...
He likes his cup of nudes.
I like to do a thing.
I like to do a thing. So they get to this cave. Yeah. This limestone cave. Which Miyoka tells them, like, this is the epicenter of where the demon slayers would make their weapons and their armor.
And they're using all these...
demon skins and bones and
skulls.
Stuff. Yeah, like hardcore. Kind of messy, but alright.
And then someone is like, shall we go in? And Inuyasha's, of course, like, yeah, we're gonna go in! And just charges forward, anime style, and then gets blown backwards, anime style.
Yeah, because magical barrier. And Miyoka's just like, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. There's a barrier. And Inuyasha's like, you should have told me before I did the thing, because he's very embarrassed. But so they kind of stand outside of the cave and, just, I don't really know the purpose of this plot scene, but all right.
It was just to keep them busy for long enough for the next plot point to occur.
True. So they're kind of dealing with whatever they threw into the cave that they can't get back because they're blocked. You switch over and Sango is huffing and puffing her way up a a mountain kind of thing,
Uh-huh.
a steep pathway, and
Her compadre that she's with.
yeah.
I don't want to say friend because they're not really.
They're not really. He's more like a guide in this sense. You know, I don't even know. But
Yeah.
he's
Baboon
there.
Man is pretty much like, hey, hate to put a damper on things, but you not looking too hot right now.
Yeah, you
You cool?
looking a little dead, girl.
And she's like, I'm fine, I got this. And he's like, okay, but I can see that you're not okay. Maybe you just borrowed this.
Yeah, indeed.
And out of the old prison pocket, I guess, he just whips out a shard from who knows where.
Who knows? Somewhere under that baboon coat of his.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was touching under there, but he got it. He got it.
Yeah, he whipped it out. and he flashed it in front of her face, and it glinted. We all saw it glinting.
We saw the whole thing. We saw the outline. We saw
like,
that.
Is that
A shard?
Yeah. So he's essentially loaning this out to her.
Yeah, to make her feel better.
Right, which we
And-
learn doesn't fix her. It
No.
only makes it so her brain is not receptacling the pain receptacles.
It's like a really good drug that you get from the hospital.
That's like some shit that you need after you give birth
Yeah.
or right before, where you're like, just
Yeah, the
just knock me
epidural,
out.
if you will.
Yeah.
She don't feel
Oh,
it.
and it kind of does make sense because it eventually gets stuck in her back hole where they take the little shard and they stick it in her back hole where the holy hole was made by the arrow.
Yeah.
So in a sense, it really is like the epidural.
Yeah.
It's not fixing the problem, it's just masking it.
Oh, absolutely. You
Like,
feel nothing.
you're going to be wrecked and destroyed at the end of this.
But who cares? You don't feel it. That's the important part.
For
you
now.
don't feel yourself getting ripped to shreds. You are just numb and going along. And
That is what happened to her,
yeah,
truly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She agreed to take this shard, which I guess when you are so hell-bent on seeking revenge, which, I mean, I've never really been there before. I've never had a villain arc, if you will. So, like,
There's still time, Hannah. Don't worry.
the night is young.
Don't worry.
No, so it's, you know, I guess if I were in that position of needing to take revenge for whatever reason, and someone gave me an easier way to, you know, I guess go about it in a sense, yeah, I'd probably take it. So I get it, girl, but also that's not sus to you a little bit? I don't know.
Well, I think she probably thought they were on the same team.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think she thought that there was more, they were on the same side. She didn't really take into consideration that she was being used. She was just kind of like, okay, we're both on the same mission.
Yeah, I guess so.
Is kind of the mentality that I felt, where she was like, oh yeah, we're going along to do the same thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
So then, yeah. So she's got a jewel shard just like
Right up
taped
in her.
in her back, I guess.
Just kind of
Sticking out.
shoved in there.
Yeah, but it's still glinting.
Yeah, yeah.
We can still see it through her back hole.
Well, because we're so blessed with the eyes that can see the shards.
Truly. And
Anime plot.
then I don't feel like, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, there was no real moment. She just, as she was adventuring and tracking, and as Scooby-Doo and gang were tracking, like, they just crossed paths, and she was like, Inuyasha, I challenge you to a duel.
Yeah, more or less.
Like, they just,
They
yeah, she
were
just, like,
kind of
found
on
them.
their way, minding their business, and all of a sudden she uses her giant boomerang to fling at him, and then she's like, Inuyasha, are you Inuyasha? And, you know, natural reaction for Inuyasha is like, who are you? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. You know,
Right, which, Hannah, you and I were both like, why would you respond like that?
Yeah.
Why would you not just be like, oh, yeah, I don't know who that is, or
yeah,
I
like,
saw him, he
think
was
about
over
it.
there, and then kind of like suss her out for a minute.
Yeah.
No, he's so dumb.
He's so dumb.
He's so
what
dumb.
of it? You know, just kind of
What
like,
are you gonna do, girl?
what do you want with me?
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm seeking revenge.
I didn't do anything.
And Miyoka is...
Make him sound so stupid.
well, yeah, so stupid.
The audience is like, is that a real recording from Inuyasha? It sounds just like him.
Wow, it's like Inuyasha's in the room with us.
Oh my gosh.
So Miyoka straight up like, oh, that's Sango. You don't want to get a fight with her, Inuyasha. Don't do it.
As if he really has a choice, though?
Yeah, I mean...
Because
she's hot to try.
they have to know that he wasn't just going to be like, oh, you're right, she does look like she's got some pretty good muscles. So, Kagome, can you just take that thing off your neck and let's just hand it over and just be done and go home and
let's just not.
celebrate our unbirthday party together? Like, no.
That's just not...
At no point would anyone expect this to go down any other way. So I feel like kind of how we discussed in our last episode, the anime dialoguing that happens, you know, where they have to explain relationships or they have to do whatever. This is just kind of one of those things where it's like,
oh, okay. We gotta
we're
shut
just
out
fillering in filler verbiage for stuff that we know is not in their character. They're not about to do that.
Right. Yeah, it's just one of those quirky anime trope things that just, it happens. It happens. So, Inuyasha's trying to block Sango's attacks.
Which is pretty hard.
It's very hard. She a tough girl.
She got a big girl boomerang.
She do. She got that boom.
Yeah.
So they're trying to figure out what's going on and why Sango's weapon is so tough and Inuyasha can like just barely hold it back. And that's when Moroku tries to use his wind tunnel hand curse.
Oh, yeah.
To kind of suck the weapon away.
Right.
And because of that, that triggers Naraku to release his demon wasps.
Which we've seen before.
We have.
And
They're
we know
notorious.
that has been no bueno.
No bueno for Moroku, because if he sucks any of those wasps up, he ends up getting poisoned, like real bad.
Yeah.
So he quickly beads up his wind tunnel again.
Yeah.
To stop it. And everyone's like shocked. Like, oh, you know, we've seen these before. That means that Naraku is nearby. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's when he appears behind Sango. And they're like, what is going on? This is not good. And Moroku just kind of starts wanting to fight Naraku as much as Inuyasha does. Like, they both try to pursue Naraku, but Sango pulls Inuyasha back into a fight with her. Because she's still
adamant about seeking her revenge.
Yeah.
And it won't be complete until she's able to, you know,
kill Inuyasha.
Skin Inuyasha and
take
wear his
pretty
skin
hair.
as a bodysuit.
Yeah, that too. You know, wear his little ears as a nice little kawaii headpiece.
So cute.
So kawaii.
Okay.
Anyways, so finally Sango more or less says, I'm seeking revenge because you killed all of my village, my family, my home. And Inuyasha tells her, like, yo, that wasn't me. Naraku's lying to you, because obviously he's here, so he's lying to you. And she does not believe it whatsoever. And Moroku's over there fighting Naraku left and right. Naraku somehow pulls out a sword from his shaft, I guess. That's under his baboon cloak. I don't know.
I told you. He's got everything stored in the old prison pocket. He just whips it out
You
out
know,
of nowhere.
You know Mary Poppins, how she had that bag?
Yeah.
That's Naraku.
That's him.
Pocket.
Yeah.
So
I hear you rummaging around in there.
just a spoonful of sugar, baby.
Just looking for stuff.
Stuffy stuff.
So yeah, he pulls out a sword,
They
but
start fighting.
isn't really able to use it.
No.
Because right between his hand and his elbow, I guess his like forearm just gets yeeted off.
Just sliced to bitsies.
And the decapitated hand is still clutching onto the sword, which is now flying through the air at a very slow pace, slow-mo style.
Yeah.
While we see other actions happening.
Yeah, so many. And Kagome is just kind of standing there with
As she
Shippo.
does.
And they're just while everyone else is fighting.
We should do something. Yeah, we should.
What should we do? And the decapitated hand
With the swordy sword
is like
still being clutched on by the decapitated hand.
It like lives. It starts living on its own.
And as it had gone flying through the air, turns out it just kind of made a beeline.
Yeah, straight
to
Kagome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight for her, and you're like, oh, that bitch is gonna choke her out. But like, nah. He just swipes what jewel shards that was around her neck, and then fuses, like flies back through the air and fuses back with his body, and everyone's like, shit. We lost the jewels. Naraku has all the jewels. He's got the jewels, baby. And so Naraku's just like, well, I got what I want, so like I'm gonna leave.
Okay, bye. And then he just like
and Inuyasha is just like, not before we fight. Like, the dude's gonna be like, oh, you're right. We gotta fight like honorable
I
gentlemen.
have everything I wanted, but I'm just gonna stick around. No.
Oh, no, this is not Dragon Ball Z. We are not doing that.
Again, it's the tropey anime-ness of stating whatever.
Yeah, you're asking your enemy to stick around and fight like an honorable person. Like, no, that's not how that works. So he takes off, and Sango's just like, Kilala, go after him. I don't think I can trust Naraku after witnessing everything. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if he proves to be... She's whispering this to the cat. Like, you know, go after, follow him, and if he proves to not be good, kill him. And I'm like, okay, great. You're going to send your cat to kill him. That's awesome. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Not saying that Kilala isn't capable of killing things, because obviously, but Sango doesn't actually know what she's up against. So, Naraku takes off, and Moroku follows, and so does Kilala. And, Sango's still kind of like, you've got to fight me, Inuyasha. And Inuyasha's like, I'm not going to do that because, you know, you're bleeding. You're bleeding, girl.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? And she looks at her hands that's just covered in blood.
I didn't realize that I was on my deathbed.
Yeah. I just need to finish my revenge.
Yeah.
But I'm bleeding, and everyone is like surprised, and Inuyasha's just like, no, like, I knew this from the beginning. I could smell all the blood on her. I knew she was near death, but, you know, she came at me. That's why I just decided not to fight her.
It was self-defense. Yeah. That'll hold up in a court of law, Inuyasha.
Yeah. In the feudal era, like, court systems. Not
in modern day U.S. anymore, but, you know, that's cool.
That's fine. So, she ends up kind of collapsing, and Kagome is
Kind of collapsing.
just kind of like dying again. And Kagome fully sees the shard and is like, yeah, there's a shard in her back. And they're like, okay, yeah, this all makes sense, that clearly Naraku's using this girl as a puppet to further his,
Evilness. Yeah.
His insidious plans.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
And, so, cutting back to Naraku being chased, I wouldn't say they corner him, but both Kilala and Moroku start kind of fighting him to no success, because all of a sudden, like, tentacles come out.
Yeah.
Tentacle
like
hand
brown.
things.
They look like roots,
Yeah,
like
they
thick
really
roots of a
do.
tree, tentacle roots.
That turn into hands at the end. And, like, they're just losing. They're losing.
Yeah, they're getting spanked.
Yeah, but not in the fun way.
And Inuyasha
And
has the ladies on his back
Yeah.
with the big booms, the big boomerangs.
yeah, the big boomerang.
Maybe
And
trekking.
Sango is having nightmares on Inuyasha's back about, like, probably having a memory / vision / nightmare kind of situation going.
Yeah, I feel like she's in a full just existential crisis.
Yeah, which is fair. I mean, I probably would be too.
Girl's been through a lot. She's almost died like 7 times today.
Yeah, and she's only like 8
Exactly.
or whatever we said last time.
Yeah.
She's been through a lot in her life. Her short life.
Very short feudal Japan life. Yeah. And
Yeah,
so
she wakes up after having the nightmare of, losing Kohaku. And she's like, someone's carrying me? And she wakes up, and all of a sudden, which was so wild, as Inuyasha's traveling, Kagome, like, is just under his hair, and she lifts up.
like as if she's popping out from underneath a blanket,
Yeah.
like they're kids and playing hide and go seek, and she's like, "Surprise! I was here all along!" Haha. No, she just like flips Inuyasha's hair, like,
It's just like, what up,
"Oh,
Sango?
hey, good morning there, sleepyhead."
Hey, Chica, hey.
Yeah, very, very,
Very cash.
interesting,
It
but
was-
okay.
It was a thing to behold. It's like, and they made it look like there was so much room on Inuyasha's back.
But he's essentially the same size as Kagome. I mean, he's
Yeah.
got maybe a couple inches on her.
Sure. But his shoulders aren't that broad.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
looks like he had so much space back there.
So much space.
He was carrying that huge boomerang, which is like 4 people,
Yeah.
and 2
Like,
grown.
teenager girls.
Yeah.
But there was enough room for, like, Sango to be on one side of him, Kagome basically in the middle of his back, under his hair. Like, what is
wild.
this?
His back just grew in size. I don't know.
Even though we zoom out and it looks like they're, like, kind of scrunched
That was
together.
super weird.
Yeah, I feel like now Inuyasha's back is the whole, like, drama of the Titanic. Was there enough door for Jack to come and, like, float with Rose?
Yeah.
It's that, but Inuyasha's back.
Yeah,
Was
his
there
back-
really enough room for Kagome and Sango?
It needs to be that broad. I mean, he's practically carrying this whole show anyways. So
At this point, yeah.
this is fine. Checks out. We can't get any more into the details about this because it's just just anime things.
just anime things. You just go for it.
Yeah.
Just like shoujos have very long-legged women,
Yes.
and yaoi have really big-handed men.
There's something for everybody in anime. That's what makes it really diverse. It's a family affair, you guys. Like, there's something for
Yeah.
everybody.
apparently
In the anime.
shonen for girls is wide backs.
Why
So
not?
there
Why
we
not?
go. There we go. That's just how it is. So
They eventually
catch
up.
Yes, they do. They do. All that to say is they eventually head towards Naraku, catch up, see that Moroku is getting his ass handed to him.
Yeah, and he needs a little
Needs
assistance.
a little help.
He needs some of Inuyasha's broad shoulders to rely on.
To lean against.
Yeah,
so
and Inuyasha's
romantically.
happy to come in and yell some angry sounding things and do a little slashy slash and, immediately slices off what appears to be the head of Naraku.
Naraku, yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Also,
You were
also him.
You were combining
I've heard it both ways.
Yeah.
Just slicey off his head, and everyone's
Naraku.
like, wow, good job, you killing it, doing excellent. And Inuyasha's like, that's not him.
Yeah.
It was too easy.
That's way too easy.
It wouldn't be that easy. And turns out he
He
right.
was right.
It really, everything kind of
Yeah, just kind of
melded back together.
Yeah,
for round two.
The wood root tentacle hand things kept coming back.
Oh yeah, the centerpiece
regenerating
was a wooden,
Oh yeah, it was like a doll, kind of a
like voodoo doll.
Yeah, more or less.
So yeah, I think that the root tentacle things, I think they were wood. That would make sense.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense. Like a lot of sense, really.
Okay. Connecting it. I think that's what it was.
Dots are
It did look
connecting.
like that.
Yeah, and yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yes.
And so, Sango and Kagome are kind of like on a hilly area under a tree, watching everything go down. And Sango, being the demon slayer that she is, she's like, "Oh yeah, Inuyasha, you should aim for the heart. There's,
You have to get
The
deeper.
center.
Like you have you have to get to the
you
center.
gotta stab your sword deeper, Inuyasha,
Yeah.
into the crevasse."
Hannah and I just made a lot of jokes about that.
As we do.
Yeah.
And so he does. He actually listens, which is great. I think that's the first time Inuyasha has ever listened to a woman.
Without being ordered to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Like by Kagome.
So he does. He gets
in there deep. I mean,
He gets in there.
Yeah. He takes his sword, unsheaths that thing, and just shafts it all the way in
sticks
there.
it in.
Yeah.
Like all the way in.
Yeah, not just the tip. It's fully submerged.
Like
It's hitting all the right spots to the point where,
to the point where Naraku's head literally explodes.
Yeah, same. Mine did too.
Also same.
Yes.
Just mind blown with all of that.
Yeah.
And it does. It turns out to be this weird, vaguely shaped human doll thing statue. It kind of reminds me of like remember back in the 90s, there was kind of a huge hit to have like home decor where it looked like really weird modern, like sleek minimalism, like statuettes kind of stuff, you know? It reminded me of that. Like
I thought
lot.
it just looked like an enlarged clothespin.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean that too. Yeah, that because
It
it
had
was
like
wood.
little leggies and that was
Yeah,
it.
because
Like a little head at the center and then just like little leggies.
and then it's like
It
two,
just branched
like,
off.
and then it came to like a little point or like a dull
Yeah, it's basically
point.
like a
You know,
clothespin.
yeah.
Just bigger. Slightly.
That's fair. And here I am like, oh, that looks like 90s like modern minimalism statue.
Yeah, you're like, do you remember 90s how they used to have decor? Like, as if any generation has never decorated. Just like only in the 90s they had decor.
It was very specific. No,
That's why I didn't say anything. I was just waiting for you to get to what item
my
you're talking
neuro's
about.
spicy. No, like I swear that like was so popular in the 90s, you know?
Yeah, my
Anyways.
grandparents used to have a lot of stuff that looked like that. I know what you're talking about.
Okay,
I feel like they
I'm
were a
not
little
crazy.
after that curve, though. It was like early 2000s, and they kind of had their home like decked out like that.
Oh, okay.
With those weird little statue things. But yeah.
You're like, it has no face. What are we doing here?
I always thought they were like Native American or something.
It could be,
I don't
you know,
know.
just like...
When suddenly the U.S. got a little more cultural than it should. Where it was kind of like, maybe this is offensive, but
like,
okay.
we're just gonna go with it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, well, back in the day, we
just didn't know these things. We just weren't as culturally
were
sensitive.
very dumb.
Truly.
So, anyways, that appears. So, obviously, surprise, not actually real Naraku.
Right.
And...
Which I do feel like Inuyasha knew.
yeah, I mean, you kind of gotta, because it's like you...
I also just felt like Inuyasha knows, like, especially about him in particular. He's like, yeah, that's not it.
Of course, that was like a false lead or like a dummy being used.
Yeah,
even though
'cause
he's kind of a dummy.
He looked pretty unimpressed by everything, where he was just like, dang it, he got away, or like, damn him.
Of course he used a puppet for
Yeah.
this. And Naraku's like, yeah, that's some like dark demon magic thing, which I'm like, well, what demon magic is not dark?
The kind that's used by the good guys, not the bad guys, but that's subjective too.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a demon, I guess you would say that you're the good guy, wouldn't
Right?
you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Again.
yeah, you
We're
know.
just in a moral conundrum here.
Let's talk about philosophy. Let's just.
All right, guys, buckle down for the
philosophize.
next 17 hours while we talk about philosophy.
I think we're gonna need more drink for that.
I'm about to pass out if we do that.
Yeah, probably. That's valid. No, so they get rid of the voodoo doll thing, and then you get cut to another place, and it's like the same exact little doll thing, except it's just like magically sliced at an angle and cut in half, and the
All
head
theatrical,
falls off.
dramatic like.
Yeah, it's like ta-dunk. And then you see a little bit of incense burning, and then it pans over to the sickly prince, right?
The sexy, sickly prince.
Sexy, sickly prince. And then you find out
Dun, dun, dun.
dun, dun, that it was Naraku all along.
Shocked Pikachu.
Bah! It's crazy. And he's just in his head giving us plot advancement by going, I'm just using this body in this palace to hide my identity as Naraku. And I will use this body to my liking or something like that. I'm like,
Sexy.
same. And, you know, so he talks to his man-made guy and says, you know, keep the guards surrounding the palace or whatever, you know, giving them duties. Doesn't really even matter. And then he gets up and walks out, and behind the paper door thing, wall, that you see him walking with the silhouette of the sickly prince, and then it turns into his white baboon cloak.
Yeah, the profile changed.
Yeah.
We could see the shadow.
In case you really didn't get it, that it's Naraku.
Yeah.
But it's Naraku. That's the real Naraku. We've been fooled. We've been had this whole time. And that's where they end it. Where they end it. And so we're not gonna know anything else until next time.
Next time.
Baka
bye.